Good morning, everyone. So, May 23rd is National Turtle Day. And so I wanted to sit down and share with you a little bit about turtles today. So first things first is that turtles are reptiles, which means a few things. It means that they don't have any hair or fur. It means that they lay eggs. And it means that they are cold-blooded. So they can't produce their own body heat, and they rely on the sun or a different source of heat to keep them warm and energize them. Now, I'm sure the first thing you think about when you think about a turtle is their shell. And one of the most common misconceptions about turtles is that they are separate from their shell, and that one day a turtle can just crawl out of its shell. And that's simply just not true. The shell of a turtle is actually made out of its spine. And it's made out of unique bones that are longer and flatter, and they are covered by a shell made out of keratin, which is the same substance that makes up your fingernails. And so, the back of a turtle shell is called its carapace, and that's made out of its spine. However, the front of a turtle shell is made out of its ribs, and it's called a plastron. And so you can see that a turtle can tuck itself inside of its shell to protect itself, which is a really unique adaptation that a turtle has. So it does this when it feels threatened or when it's being preyed on by a predator. And one thing about turtles is that they can actually eat too much food to the point where they can't fit inside their shells anymore. So it's important that turtles stay trim so they can fit inside their shells. Another thing about turtles is they can live almost anywhere. Turtles live on almost every continent of the world, and they can live on land or in water. And if a turtle lives on land, it is a terrestrial turtle, and it's also called a tortoise. And tortoises have some different adaptations than the other turtles in the turtle family, in that they tend to have thicker skin, thicker, scalier skin, and they also walk on their toes instead of flat on their feet. And so turtles that walk on their toes are called digigrade. They walk on their digits, and a digit is another word for their finger. But turtles walk on their feet, flat on their feet, and they are called plantigrades. And so being a digigrade helps them move and maneuver over land a lot easier than if they were flat-footed. And because turtles live all over the world, some of them experience winter. And in order for them to survive winter, they burrow themselves deep in the ground and sit there over the winter. And they reduce their metabolism so that they can survive until the next year. Here at the Nature Center, we have a few different types of turtles that I would like to introduce you today. We have two painted turtles named Sam and Squirt. And you just got to meet Sam, but this is Sam, and he is a Midland painted turtle. And he's called a painted turtle because of the lines on his face and also the pigment on his shell. It's very detailed, so it looks like he was painted. And so while Sam is a Midland painted turtle, this little guy is a Western painted turtle. And you can see that he's quite a bit larger than Sam. They're both the same species, they're both males, and they're both about the same age. And the reason they have such a large difference in size is because they're separate subspecies. And so they're found in different parts of America, but we have both of them in Wisconsin. And these little guys primarily live in water, but they can walk on land. And so they are also omnivores, which means they eat both plants and animals. And so we tend to feed them romaine lettuce, much like what you have in your fridge. We feed them turtle pellets, which have nutrients and other things they need in them. And we also feed them mealworms, which are a different type of insect. Another turtle we have at the Nature Center, his name is Gonzo. And he is a Russian tortoise. And so because he's a tortoise, he tends to, or he does live on land, he is terrestrial, and you can see his little claws and his fingers, and you can see the scaly skin on his arms. Now, Russian tortoises are not native to Wisconsin. They're native to Asia, but they're very docile, and so they have been adopted in different parts of the world as pets. And Gonzo is a pretty adventurous little guy, and he likes to walk around the nature center. He likes to be on the move. And so today I brought in a balloon and I attached it to his shell so I could watch him a little bit better while we film this video. But Gonzo is pretty much a herbivore, so that means he just eats plants, and he really likes to eat romaine lettuce and bananas, but we feed him squash and potatoes and sweet potatoes and apples and oranges, but he eats a wide variety of his fruits and veggies. And so the last turtle that we have today This little guy's name is Shelly, and Shelly is a snapping turtle. And Shelly is a snapping turtle, and while she's used for a lot of educational purposes, she is a wild animal, and so I tend to use a little bit of protection when I handle her just to be safe. But you can see the plastron on Shelly is pretty small. It leaves a lot of her arms and legs exposed, which means that she has to have another way to protect herself. And so she has very strong, powerful jaws that she can use to bite, which is why she's called a snapping turtle. And she can use her jaws to bite anything that might make her feel threatened, but she can also use them to hunt and find different types of food. And so she tends to eat, she likes to eat mealworms and different types of worms and crickets, and we also feed her turtle pellets to supplement any nutrients she might be missing. But snapping turtles can walk on land, and they also can swim really well. They tend to feel more comfortable when they're submerged in water, and so I have Shelly, I have her in a tank of water, so she feels a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more safe. But snapping turtles can be kind of dangerous, so it's important that if you see them, you leave them alone. One thing about snapping turtles is that their necks are super long. And so Shelly, even though she's only about this big, her neck is about this long. And so if you don't pick her up right, she can stretch her neck out around and bite you. So it's really important that you use a lot of caution when handling snapping turtles. So those are the turtles that we have here at the Nature Center. Hopefully when everything opens up and gets back to normal, you all can come and meet them. Turtles are really unique creatures, and they're really important for our ecosystems too. So happy National Turtle Day, and I hope you all have a great day.